Hey guys, it's Nick, and thanks for tuning into this All Things Skaven video. This is going to be a follow-up video to one of my battle reports in the process of me creating my list for the upcoming 2013 Crossroads. And in this video, I'm just going to be discussing the Bell and the Furnace for the Skaven army, as I'm trying to figure out in this list that I'm creating, do I bring one, do I bring both, do I bring no Bell and bring two Furnaces? So I'm just going to run through why I think they're good, why I think they're bad, throw some points out there as to their values, and really want to also get some feedback from you guys as to why you disagree or agree with me, or why you think I'm right and or wrong. So I want to go into the Bell first. You're getting this guy on a Gray Seer. The Gray Seer is already going to be about 300 points after you equip him. So now you're spending another 200 points on to the Bell, which is this chariot. That'll be a chariot-like unit that will be in a Clamrat or Stormvermin unit, usually taking up about the space of 15 guys. And you're going to be getting Magic Res 2. Right off the bat, I value that 30 points, and I'm going to be referencing to the points values in the books, or just ones that I come up with off the top of my head. The 4+ ward save for the Grey Seer that's granted to him is 45 points alone, and then the Bell gets a ward save of 4+, which I'm not even going to write a points value down, but that's still valuable where both your mount and the character have an awesome ward save. And then together versus magic, that's a 2-up ward save targeting the Bell or the caster, so that's very valuable. The fact that he's a large target gives that 18-inch Leadership 7 bubble, which is essential for your Skaven, so you can get Leadership 10. And then with your BSB nearby, you get your reroll. So Leadership 10 is really good as long as you have those ranks, and that's something that I really value for the Bell, even though it might not be as tactical or damaging as you might see it as. Impact hits, I just kind of threw down 20 points as, it's useful, but usually you don't want to be charging with this thing unless you're playing a very offensive army. You want to be able to get the leadership and cast magic from it. It grants a 6+ armor save in the rulebook. Arguably, some people say it's a 5+ armor save because he's getting a 6 from the Skaven book, but then mounts or chariots give it an extra armor save, but then the counter argument is it's not a mount, it's not a chariot, it's a unique mount, which means it might not. So we'll say 6 armor save, arguably a 5-up, but I threw 10 points on that. The 360-degree casting is great. I mean, it used to be better, I guess, before 8th edition, when you really needed, there was more restrictions, but now with hexes and everything, it's a little bit different, but that's still pretty awesome. And that's also a tricky thing you could do that someone brought to my attention is, if you don't want the Bell charged or the Grey Seer charged or attacked, you just you reform your unit so that it's going to be charged on the flanks, which is kind of cheese if you look at it that way, because your combat heroes can make way. Your Grey Seer is going to stay right where he is, and he doesn't have to see combat, and you're unbreakable as long as the Bell's alive. So it's kind of cheesy, but it's a pretty good idea. And then Unbreakable, I'm going to say 50 points. I forget how much the Chronic Command is, but we'll just say the ability to make your unit unbreakable, we'll say alone is 50 points. Terror, 25 points based on the Mask of E or whatever. A Rat Ogre without Frenzy, I'm going to say 35 points. Ability to hide from a challenge is pretty huge. When I was thinking about this video, I kind of have to revisit the rules, because I know in the core rulebook, unless it's FAQ'd, the challenger gets to pick what hero declines and goes to the back, I think. If someone wants to verify, that'd be great. And then the Skaven book says a declining character, where declining Grey Seer can go on top of the Bell. So hopefully you have other heroes in the Bell unit, but your opponent's not going to say, alright, let the Grey Seer run away. He's going to say, alright, put your Engineer in the back, or put your Assassin in the back, or put your Chieftain in the back. So I don't know how it would really work out. Hopefully people realize that the Grey Seer is just going to decline and hide, but I mean, that's kind of gimmicky, and I believe the rules are a little bit questionable on that. But if someone can clarify in the comments below, that'd be cool. And the Bell ability, ringing the bell, I'll throw 25 points on that. I mean, you can get a bounce spell out, like Scorch, or you can start destroying buildings, or you can move a little bit extra, or you can, get a larger reroll radius for leadership tests, or you can even get +1 attack for all your units within 24 inches, or 12 inches. So it's pretty awesome. I mean, maybe 25 points is undervaluing it, but just looking at all those things, I know there's going to be some things I missed or didn't mention, but I mean, that's over 250 points worth of value, which is more than what you're paying for, I believe. But the argument's going to be you're throwing all your eggs in one basket, which is true. That bell gets taken out, you lose all that fun stuff. The Grey Seer is going to be still alive unless the Grey Seer dies first, but I don't know. It's very interesting unit. I mean, you can pay for everything separately. Take a hero with that. Take another hero with this. Take an engineer with the magic res, which I've done, and it's nice and all. But once you get into combat, those heroes are easily killed because you can only take so many 50-point items that you're going to slowly lose your victory points anyway. So I just like the bell mainly because of the big leadership radius and the fact that you can just cast your spells a little bit easier. But let's jump on to the furnace. Same thing, magic res 2. You can get protection from shooting, which I didn't really mention in the bell one, is the fact that to shoot the caster on the roll of a 1 to 5, you end up hitting the bell or the furnace, which is great because it's high toughness and you don't want your hero dying anyway. Unbreakable and impact hits, of course, terror. The crew for this I threw 15-point value because, I mean, it's really just 2 plague monks with 1 extra attack because of frenzy. The billowing death attack, I threw 35 points on it. I don't know if that's underpricing it. It's essentially it's the flame template backwards that you could do in your shooting phase, and it's essentially toughness test, no armor, which is really good. I don't know, maybe I should have made that a little bit more points, like 45 points, I'd say, because you don't always want to rush into combat, so if you can get this thing close enough to use this attack and maybe hit something, some heavy cavalry or monstrous cavalry or monstrous infantry, I mean, it's not bad. But it's not the reason I bring the furnace. The D6 toughness tests, no armor save in close combat is pretty awesome, and the fact that your guys are a little bit more protected from that is cool. I threw 25 points value on that. The record attack, I did 40 points because this thing, it kind of functions, let's say, like an organ gun. It functions very much like an organ gun, except it's close combat only. Artillery dice strength 5 hits on the enemy unit. So, I mean, it's definitely not 125 points like the organ gun is because the organ gun can shoot, but this thing is pretty useful as long as your bell's still alive. So against something like Black Orcs, the furnace, I should say. I don't know if the furnace will be alive after attacking Black Orcs because they're going to have strength, strength 4, great weapon, strength 6, chop strength 7. So this Black Orcs could take the freaking furnace or bell down really quickly. So, I don't know. Let's say if I'm fighting monstrous infantry or monstrous cavalry, let's say like skull crushers, it's not bad. That strength 5 attack, you can get a lot of them, but I mean, it still allows an armor save, so that's not as nasty. And again, a large target, you can get your leadership 6 18-inch bubble in a small game. Now, I'm really working on my 2,500 point game. If I'm playing a small 1,500 points or even 1,000 points, you can squeeze this guy in. Not bad for a leadership 6 18-inch bubble. So that comes out to over a value of over 250 points, which is similar to the bell, but you're paying 50 points less. You're paying 150 points for this thing, so it's definitely a lot better in terms of damage output. It has all these different quirky things about it, but a lot more vulnerable because it has no ward save. So against magic, it's going to have a nice magic res, but against the shooting or cannons or stuff, I don't know, a little worried about what might happen to it. So comparing the two, I like both. I need to figure out which one's going to be in my list and why. So that's something I'm going to be working on the next couple weeks. And I mean, I've gotten a lot of feedback from you guys, which is great in terms of which is better. I know the bell has a lot of potential with support, but the furnace just has a lot of damage. So I got to figure out Also, what kind of scenarios that are going to be at this tournament. If anyone's been to Crossroads or suspects what they might be, I don't know what scenarios they're going to be and how they affect the game, or how I should create my list around them if I should do that. But yeah, so I'm sure there's things I missed, so I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But yeah, so going forward, you're going to see a little bit of both the bell and the furnace, and we'll figure out what's going to be a staple in this tournament list. Thanks for watching, and thanks for the comments.